Day to you. It's Clive Maund at clivemaund.com. And firstly, I'd like to extend a warm welcome to new subscribers to my site and also to the YouTube channel. Now, the subject of today's video is gold and oil in relation to Iran. These are momentous times we're living through, and there's the real risk, a strong possibility of an attack on Iran by the United States and Israel in coming days, or perhaps over the next week or two. And so we are going to look at the charts. I'm not going to talk about the political or geopolitical aspects of it or moral aspects of it at all. I'm going to concentrate on the charts. But I will start out, I will preface this video by saying that I watched a video, an interesting video by Colonel Douglas Macgregor earlier today, who was of the opinion that the attack is now inevitable. It's going to happen. The only question is when, and he thinks it's going to happen within a few days. And Scott Ritter was pretty much of the same opinion. Now, I'll put links to those two interesting videos below so that any of you who haven't seen them can watch them. But other than that, we're going to confine ourselves to looking at the charts. Now, we'll start with just a 1 month gold chart because on Friday morning, I spotted that the pattern in gold had morphed into a small cup and handle base, and we've been looking at these cup and handles in that other chart school video about a week ago, and here we have yet another example. And what happened is on Friday I spotted this cup and handle, and it looked to me like it was going to advance towards the breakout point. So I posted an article mid-morning with this chart, with this first chart in it, saying that I thought that gold was going to advance and break out of the small pattern. So now we'll proceed to see what happened later in the day. By the time gold closed, it was at the breakout point. And I had a look at the market this evening, and I see that in the Far East it's actually broken out now, and it's risen, I think, to 52.50 or thereabouts. So it is breaking out of this small cup and handle base as I talk to you. Now this is most interesting because I turned bullish on gold actually a couple of weeks ago, and the reason for that we can see on the next chart. Well, actually, we can see it on this chart, which is that there are a couple of bullish, what I call bullish belt hold candles. You can see there's about 2 weeks ago, and this is where these two candles where gold opened at the low of the day and closed pretty much at the high of the day. These are bullish, and there were two of them, and the second one was even bigger. And that led me to conclude that we were actually seeing a reversal pattern forming. And I'll now show you the chart from that time, which was posted, I think, on the 8th of February on the site. And here you can see that this is a 3-month chart, and you can see those bullish belt hold lines highlighted there. And the price projection that you can see put on that chart is pretty much done exactly what was predicted back on the 8th. You can see it's kind of zigzagged around, formed the handle to what turned out to be that cup and handle base that we just looked at. And now it's starting to advance out of it as I speak. So that was a pretty satisfactory prediction. And of course, I don't know to what extent, but probably it relates to what's going on in the Middle East, especially with respect to Iran, to a considerable, if not a large extent. So now, given that an attack on Iran could very well lead to Iran blocking the Straits of Hormuz, not just for a few days, but probably for months. Now, if this happens, it's going to cause oil to skyrocket. So the next thing we're going to do is look at the oil charts. And the interesting thing is, I'm actually amazed that oil has done nothing, given the background we've had over the past several months. And the way we've seen this build up towards an attack on Iran. I'm actually amazed that we haven't seen more upside in oil so far. But and I looked at this chart this weekend and I thought, well, can I see any sign of a base here? What's it doing? It doesn't look particularly like it's forming a base to me. But what I did see is that, as you can see on this chart, which is the 8-year chart for light crude, um, from the 2022 highs, oil has drifted, the light crude has drifted lower in this large downtrend for several years. But this downtrend has taken the form of a bullish falling wedge, a converging channel, and it's brought oil down to a support level, that support level drawn on the chart. So this is actually a good point for oil to break out of this downtrend and start higher. And of course, if the attack on Iran goes ahead, it could do that with alacrity, obviously. Now, the other point I want to make on this chart is that we've hardly covered oil at all on my site over the last couple of years. We've only looked at maybe a handful of oil stocks, and that actually made sense because it's been the precious metal sector that performed. Oil's done virtually nothing. Stocks have outperformed oil itself, but nothing to write home about. It's just been basically a complete waste of time, the oil sector, for the last couple of years compared to oil, gold and silver, precious metal sector. And you can see the difference looking because gold is shown at the top of this chart. Look at the difference between performance of gold over the last couple of years and the performance of oil. But that could all change very fast if, of course, this attack on Iran goes ahead and it leads to Iran blocking the Straits of Hormuz, which could last for months. And as about 20% of the world's oil supply goes through those straits, you could see your oil go up. Maybe, I don't know what it would go up to, $150, $200 a barrel or something. So, but while I couldn't see evidence of a base pattern on this oil chart, I looked around and I thought, what else might show signs of oil basing? And I had a look at the chart for the United States Oil Fund for the same time period, 8 years. Now take a look at this. Yes, it's skewed, right? But I see a cup and handle base there. I see a very long handle dragging on from 2022. Now, it's not really a perfect cup and handle in the sense that the cup part of it looks very skewed. But it does indeed look like a cup, albeit skewed. It looks like a cup and handle base to me. And the advantage also in this chart is you can see the accumulation line, top of this chart. That's been steadily rising and it's trending higher in recent past. And it suggests to me that this United States Oil Fund, is going to break out of the resistance at the top of that cup and handle base pattern. And of course, if that happens, it means that oil itself is going to break higher. So lastly, what we're going to do is have a look at an oil stocks index to see how oil stocks are looking at this time. This is quite interesting because in the first place, it shows that this is the XOI oil index, which goes back 8 years as well. And this is interesting because it shows two things. One is that oil stocks have actually been outperforming oil itself, which to some extent is due to the oil stocks going up with a broad stock market. But the other thing we can observe on here is that just this year, they've taken off quite strongly higher. And it appears to me that the market has smelt this, this situation with Iran developing, and is kind of anticipating higher oil prices, which is why the XOI oil index has risen quite significantly in recent weeks. It's actually become somewhat overbought. But that won't stop it, of course, if the attack on Iran goes ahead, because in the Strait of Hormuz, it will just go through the roof. So this is all very interesting, and I just wanted to bring your attention to these things as we go into this week. So let's see what happens this coming week. If Macgregor and Ritter are right, we could see an attack on Iran within days. As I said at the outset, I'm not going to pass any judgment on the morality of it or what I think the outcome of it. That's for other people. My job is to look at the charts. Anyway, I hope you find this interesting, this video. And I should probably be producing a video, one of the chart school videos, within a week or two. It's got delayed by me frantically writing up precious metal stocks over the past few days, but I intend to produce another chart school video on the head and shoulders patterns, head and shoulders tops and head and shoulders bottoms. And anyway, as I say, I hope you found this interesting. And, if you want to go and join us over at clivemaund.com, you're most welcome. And look forward to speaking to you soon. Let's see what this week brings. It promises to be very interesting. And that's all for now. So have a good week and speak to you soon. Goodbye.